And all at once, I had this problem. But that wasn't the worst of it. The worst was to come. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story of what happened to me in my range last Saturday. I think it was November 11th. Hopefully it goes well. I got wind out here today. It might interfere with the microphone a little bit, but I have to deal with what I have to deal with. So anyway, I was out of my range doing my Tuco the Rat thing, firing from the hip, fanning a little bit, triple shotting a little bit. I was trying to capture a video kind of in the Misha's Guns style, where he puts a box of ammunition on the table, shows loading the gun, the first person perspective or whatever, you know, shooting. And the ammunition I was using was this Armscor 38 Special 158 grain full metal jacket, factory ammunition. And I was loading these, I was going through them, and I was fanning and doing a triple shot here and there, and doing single stroke fans, and all at once I had this problem. Ooh. That was weird. That didn't go. That is the first time that ever happened. But that wasn't the worst of it. The worst was to come. And what happened was when I fired that shot, I knew it was a squib or something wasn't right. It didn't quite sound like a squib. I've heard a squib before at a cowboy action match. I heard somebody else had a squib. I had a squib 15 years ago when I first started to load on a progressive press. I read about how easily you can get a squib if you're not paying attention. So I did a batch. I went to the range and I was real careful. I was listening, and I did get one. And a guy at the range helped me knock the bullet out of the barrel, and everything was fine. I guess I should explain what a squib is for people that may not know. A squib round is an underpowered round. Most commonly, it's when they're loading ammunition, they accidentally don't put any powder in the shell. And the power of the primer alone can drive the bullet into the barrel and lodge in the barrel. And then the next round, the next full charge round with the bullet behind it, the bullet will hit that bullet, and typically it'll push that bullet all the way through the barrel, and it'll damage the barrel. It'll put a bulge in, it'll kind of ruin the barrel. In extreme cases, if the load is really hot, it can rupture the barrel, it can blow up the gun, it can injure the shooter, you know. So squibs are a very, very dangerous thing, and especially in reloading, and what you always hear is the reloader's got to watch out for it, and don't borrow anybody else's hand-loaded ammunition. They might have a squib, and that's all true. And since that first time, 15 years ago, I've never got another squib, and I've loaded well over 100,000 rounds. And I'm just very, very careful to never get a squib, but I'm aware that it can happen. I've never encountered it in factory ammunition. I've never heard of it in factory ammunition. I imagine it's happened before, but I've never heard of it. You buy factory ammunition because these people are licensed by the government to manufacture ammunition for the public, and they do it with fail-safe methods to make sure that that the load is within safe limits, that it has enough powder, that you don't have squibs, that it's not overloaded, it's not double charged. There's a lot of things, and they have mechanical means to make sure that they never sell you ammunition that's dangerous. But in this case, that's exactly what happened. And looking at the video, I don't think it was a primer only squib, because I mean, it might have been. You can hear there's like a pressure release there. It makes a psst sound. Ooh. So maybe it was just a primer only charge. I was thinking maybe it was a super low powder charge, because that can cause a squib too, when there's a little bit of powder in it, but not enough to push the bullet all the way through the barrel. Because the bullet in the barrel actually fits really, really tightly, and it takes quite a bit of energy to push that bullet all the way through. So anyway, that happened. The gun had the squib sound. Prior to that, I didn't notice anything was wrong, other than I wasn't hitting all the time, which does happen when I'm doing exhibition shooting, doing exotic shooting. I don't always hit the target. So the fact that I thought that I missed a couple times didn't really alarm me. Come to find out later, that's not what happened. What was happening, the squib actually happened before that. And so when the interruption happened there, and it was obvious there's something wrong with this gun, then I stopped. I noticed that I should go get the gun. Bear with me a second. Okay, so Here's the gun. It was my Pietta Great Western 2 Dead Man's Handgun that I filmed a what they call a review on it back in, I think, June. And so I shot this gun before with factory ammo. I'd never shot hand loads out. I never have shot hand loads out of it because I don't reload for 38 357 yet. But anyway, so that the thing happened there with the round. I knew there's something wrong with it, and then I went to unload it, and the gun was locked up. It took me a while to realize there was a bullet lodged right in here between the cylinder and the barrel. And I thought, that's an odd place to get a squib. They usually go into the barrel. And so I shut everything down, took my cameras. I knew I was done shooting. Went in the shop, and I put a rod down the barrel, and the rod only went to about here. So I'm like, wait, I got 2 bullets in this thing at least. I got a bullet here, and I got a bullet here. And then I thought, it's odd to have them 2 separated. I wonder if it got bullets in the middle. So I went back and watched the video, and either I didn't have the camera on for one of the clips I did. I had the camera on when I became aware there's something wrong. But the clip prior to that shows me shoot 6. So I'm thinking I must not have turned the camera on once. I thought I hit the button and I didn't quite push it hard enough. Sometimes it happens. So the beginning of the squib thing, I don't think I captured, but I captured when it became obvious there was a problem. So anyway, this was a 4-day project to fix this. Starting Saturday, I started working on it, started researching it. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, now it's Tuesday. Finally got it done today. To just be able to even work on it, I had to put this thing into unloading load mode. Then I had to beat the cylinder out of it and shear that bullet in half to get that out. Then I tried the method with a wooden dowel. That wouldn't budge anything. Went to a brass rod. I started looking for more advice. I got a hold of everything but black powder channel. And he suggested trying to drill a hole through the bullet, so that's the next thing I did. I couldn't go from this side without taking the barrel off. I've never taken a barrel off a revolver before, and it requires a barrel vise, and you can damage the frame. So I didn't want to take the barrel off. I went in from this side. I could drill out the first bullet, maybe the first bullet and a half. I don't know, because by that time I'd been pounding on it a while. I couldn't get all the way through, so I finally resorted to not a butane, but not a propane torch. I forgot the gas. It's the yellow bottle. It's hotter than a propane torch. And I melted the lead out of the bullet that was sheared off, and I melted the lead out of the bullet on this side that I had broke the jacket open on the bullet. These were jacketed 158 grain bullets. So I got the lead out of that bullet. I got the lead out of that bullet, but everything was lodged really badly. I soaked it in oil overnight a couple of times, and ended up just beating the heck out of this thing. And I finally ended up using machine steel rod because everything else was not working. And to give you an idea how hard I beat on that thing, that's machine steel rod, and I mushroomed the end of it. And I'm trying to remember, yesterday I got enough holes in the jackets that I was able to melt all the lead out yesterday, but I still had jackets in there. I didn't know how many, but I suspected there could be 4 bullets in there from here all the way back to here. So now the back one I got out, when I melted the lead out of it, I pounded on, I got the back jacket out, so now I had about 3 to go. I come to find out I did have 3 in there still. So I continued to work on that, and I could not pound the jackets out. It felt like they're welded on, but I checked the melting point of brass is like 1900 degrees, so I know I didn't get that. I just melted the lead out. And so I took my machine steel rod that I was pounding with, and I put an angle on it. And what I had to do basically is put this down. I had to put a bend on the end of it to make it bind against the crown and the barrel, which is the worst thing you can do. But I had to get it to put pressure on the side of the inside of the barrel to start to break that jacket casing, the bullet jacket off the sidewall, because it was just swaged into the rifling from pounding on it all that time, So today I finally got the jackets out of the barrel, and I've got a picture of that. And as far as I can tell, there was 4 bullets in this barrel. And so the ammunition was obviously defective. There was a squib there for sure. It was so underpowered, it didn't bulge the barrel, even though I shot multiple bullets into it. What's really weird is you can see in the video that round that I fired just before it became aware, that was like the 3rd bullet. The 3rd bullet wasn't going through the barrel. It felt like the others. It felt like recoil. It sounded like the others. I didn't hear anything odd. You know, I would have thought if the bullet didn't leave the barrel, the recoil would have felt different, but the recoil felt the same. Overall, this ammunition seemed really light. So I pulled the bullet out of the loaded round that was the other loaded rounds in this one. I finally got it apart. I pulled the bullet out of one of them, and I measured the powder, and it was 4 grains of powder, some kind of a flake powder. And I looked it up in the book. That's not really light for a 38. You know, it's kind of it's on the light side of normal. So that particular round was loaded correctly. But I noticed when I popped that bullet out there, it came out really, really easy, like it wasn't crimped at all. And so I mean, I wonder, maybe the fact it wasn't crimped, the primer was pushing the bullet out before the charge got time to actually build a pressure containment that's what makes your gunpowder, smokeless gunpowder. It needs to be contained to have the power, you know. So maybe it wasn't crimped. Maybe the crimping was an issue. I don't know, because when you look at that video, when that one goes psst, obviously some pressure came out of there kind of gradually. It kind of sounded like smokeless powder burning in the open, you know, and the bullet went forward just enough to let the gases escape, you know. So I'm thankful that my gun isn't ruined. My barrel definitely has damage from all the pounding and picking on. You know, how'd you like to pick that steel against the side of your barrel for 2 hours to get the jacket out? That couldn't have been good for it. I mean, visually, I can't tell. I haven't shot it yet. I don't know. I'm sure it's lost accuracy. The biggest thing that irritates me is that Armscor has not communicated with me yet. I emailed them the day it happened. I called them and waited, went through their customer service button pushing thing, and nobody answered. Left them a message. I was pretty blunt about it, you know. You guys sold defective ammunition. You know, you need to follow up with me. Let's figure out which batch it was or lot it was. I can't see anything on the box that indicates a batch number or lot number, but there's a barcode on it. So I'm thinking I'm going to show this barcode. Maybe if they go over this barcode, they can figure out how many of these were in that run. But this is a serious thing. You know, factory ammunition should never have a dangerous air in it like that. You know, that's why these people are licensed to sell ammunition to the public, is because they're supposed to have mechanical means in their reloading process to make sure that they never have a squib, they never have a double charge or whatever. You know, there's no excuse for this. And not communicating with me, there's no excuse for that either. So watch out for this stuff. If you got it, don't shoot it. If you haven't got it, don't buy it. And they have yet to follow up with me. And at the very minimum, I want them to pay me for this ammunition I bought. I got 4 boxes of it, and I want a refund on that. I mean, there's obviously my gun's been damaged too. You know, it's still apparently shoots. I haven't tried it yet, but you know, it's a serious thing. I expect them to at least follow up with me. So I hope that helps anybody maybe avoid a similar problem, and we'll see you on the next video.